Okay, hi y'all. Kylie and I had the Constructivist Learning Theory, which is by Jerome Bruner. He's actually a really cute old man. You can tell from the picture, he just kind of looks small and he looks like the fun-loving grandpa. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. He was born October 1st in 1915 in New York, New York. He actually was originally born blind, but at the age of 2, he had surgery, which allowed him to see. He got his bachelor's and master's in psychology at Duke, and later on got his doctorate in psychology at Harvard. The definition of a theory is a principle which magnifies students' logical conceptual growth, emphasizing active learning, and a few examples include constructing knowledge rather than acquiring it, debates, socialization, reflecting on experiences, and groups activities. What exactly is constructivist learning theory? This theory is kind of based around the idea that learning is an active, ongoing process and it's never at a standstill. This pretty much means that we as people are constant learning and we're learning new things every day, and that we're never not going to learn something because we obviously don't know everything. And you know that saying that you learn something new every day? That's kind of what this theory is all about. This active learning style allows individuals to interpret or construct new ideas through previous learning and current knowledge. So people are going to be able to take what they've learned in the past and apply it to what they're learning now. So if you're going to use, like, for example, a math class and you just covered addition, understanding addition rules are really going to help students to be able to understand multiplication rules, because they're going to be able to take what they've just learned in their previous learning and apply it to new ideas that you're talking about in learning. This theory also just suggests that the knowledge someone holds is kind of based around their previous experiences, and these experiences affect how they're going to learn in the present. Another example of this could kind of be if you had a really bad math experience, like you failed the class or you had a really bad teacher and you just decided that you suck at math and you're never going to be good at it. This past experience that you had is really going to affect how you're going to learn in the present, and if you're going to be willing to learn and study and try to learn the new concepts you're learning, because yeah. It's also important to remember and understand that not everyone processes information the same way. This is why we have multiple intelligences, because not everyone learns the same way. And this theory kind of also reminds us that learning is interpreted in a variety of different ways. People learn in different ways, and that's why we have to have different strategies and different activities to help students learn. And again, not everyone has had different experiences, and they come from a variety of different backgrounds and educational backgrounds. So someone could have had a really good math teacher who really taught them addition really well. They even knew division and multiplication, and wow, they know so much, but the student next to them may have never been introduced to math. This is their first time understanding addition. They're going to be behind. They're not behind, but they differ from other students in their class based on their lack of math, their lack of experience, and things like this. Again, students are going to come from different backgrounds and not know the same things. Two main concepts to get from this theory is important to create the construction of a student's new knowledge by helping the students absorb more knowledge and then use it later in life. This is pretty much meaning we are the foundation. What they're learning now and the knowledge they're taking in, they're going to be able to add on to it and use it later in life. The second thing is to train students' minds to use old knowledge and experiences to problem solve. By training the student to use experiences, they will be able to work problems out on their own. This is a big step for students to gain the confidence they need to be on their own. Again, this is the idea of having a student take what they have done in the past and applying it to work out problems that they're experiencing now. So, like, for example, if one time a student touched their hand on a hot stove, but they can't figure out how hot it is, they know, oh no, I'm not going to put my hand on it because I learned in the past that it's too hot and it's going to burn me, so I'm going to have to figure out another way to turn the stove off. It's kind of just like that. How we can use this theory in our classrooms. One way is to have active classroom discussions. This way it broadens the ideas of what they're learning, and students aren't just going to relay facts, and this really can help with higher order of thinking. They can relate what they're learning to one another. Big group discussions can really help students understand something, simply because sometimes our classmates can explain information better than a teacher can, in the sense that they can put it down to our level and relate it to how we think currently. They can relate what they're learning to a past experience. They can utilize the information internet to research connections between the material and current events. An example of this could be students using the internet to look up our government or our government systems, because we're learning about the judiciary system. They can learn those key concepts about the judiciary system and how it's working in our current government. We even found an article called Creating a Climate for Learning that really says that teachers have to set a mood for learning, that teachers have to feel excited, motivated. They have to be knowledgeable about the things they're teaching, because students pick up on that. If teachers seem disinterested and they don't want to be there, students aren't going to want to learn, and they're not going to be willing to learn. And we as teachers, we have to prepare students to learn and work through problems on their own. We have to be able to get them not teacher needed 24/7. They need to be able to solve things on our own with some guidance from our teacher, from us as teachers, but we don't need to hold their hand the whole time. They're going to have to be able to solve problems on their own, because the older they get, the more they're going to have to do so. Some few topics to discuss. The first one is that teachers need to facilitate to the student's aid instead of just lecturing. This takes the focus off the teacher and puts more focus on the learning of the student. The second one is, instead of answering questions just about the curriculum, leave the floor open for all discussion. The students will learn more when they are more intrigued by their own questions. This also helps with higher level of thinking. Again, it's not just learning the facts and moving on. It's about learning the material and being able to relate it to the real world and things like this. And the last one, using constructive learning theory in your classroom will allow students to use the skills they have learned to analyze and problem solve in the world around them. So just some things to sum it up. Here are some main points that we discussed. So I just kind of wanted to go over them again. The constructive learning theory is based around how someone gains new knowledge or constructs new ideas based off previous or current knowledge. 2, not everyone is going to interpret knowledge or ideas the same way. This is because not everyone has experienced the same thing, and everyone comes from a variety of different backgrounds. 3, teachers need to set an environment for learning. And lastly, teachers need to allow students to problem solve and work on their own. And that's all about the constructive learning theory. Thank you all so much.